I have done a lot of work so far. So I've chosen 100 shots that I personally think represents where BAFTA is. So I could have easily have chosen 100 Hollywood A-list actors. I could have easily chosen 100 British actors. So what I've done, as I've mixed it up, I've got a huge splattering of Hollywood actors, some huge iconic British names, and also a few surprises. There's a few people here that maybe people don't realise, were, famous actors. He was such a raconteur. He told me stories about him and Meryl, and he told me stories about him and Sinatra at the Rat Pack, and how I used to hang out with him and Sammy Davis. All these great stories, and I was so lucky. And then I went back to the UK, and normally after about a week or so, I send off the prints, the person I photographed. And so this time I emailed them over to his wife, and his wife said, well, Tony's been a bit poorly, but I'll show them to them. And Tony was in hospital, and she took in my pictures to show him. And Tony saw the pictures and said, these were, the best portrait I think I've ever seen of myself. And he passed away in the afternoon. So this was literally the last photograph ever taken of Tony, and he liked it. She came through with a glass of champagne. I had some champagne already. I made her drink champagne very quickly, so a couple of glasses. I said, okay, I want you to pull 20 of your best faces. She started contorting all these faces. And halfway through, I started barking things at her, saying, do this, do that. And she relished it, and she was pulling faces and messing about and laughing. So I was very, very fortunate to get her on a really good day, and I got some great shots. I met her in the Savoy. She bounded across the foyer, shouting and waving at me, and gave me a huge hug, and said, okay, are we going to do this now? To the studio. And within seconds, she was doing the right poses, doing everything. And for someone so young, she was so wise beyond her years. Every little conversation you can imagine happened. He talked about girls I photographed, movies he'd been in, he'd asked what I was from. Now, by this time, 5 minutes had gone past, and 6 minutes, and he kept seeing me doing this. And he said, Andy, am I keeping you from something? I said, well, I've now got 3.5 minutes left to photograph you. He said, why? I said, well, I've been told. He said, Andy, it's my movie. Have as long as you want. An hour and a half later, we were still talking about girls and movies and films and fish and chips, and we had an arm wrestling competition. We like arm wrestling, but he was quite buff for the movie, and I'm not a small chap, so we had arm wrestling, and we had a piggyback race, and it was great. And then he said, should we get on with this? And we had literally done 30, 40 shots in 2 or 3 minutes. I got what I wanted straight away, immediately. Then at the end, he shook my hand and said, this is the best job I think I've ever done. Is there anything I can do to help you? I said, well, if you know any huge names that I can attribute to my projects. He said, hang on, I've got an idea. Got out a cell phone, dialed a number, went to the corner of the room, had a bit of a chat, came back, gave me the phone. He said, hello? I said, Andy, it's George Clooney. I'm in Lake Como. Come over for the weekend. And so I did. I went over for the weekend to Lake Como. Never met George before, but I met George. I had a great shoot in his house, a really fun shoot, and literally that is how this has worked.